That is how you do indie horror. I'm Joe Rentham with a review of The Cleansing Hour, a Shudder original directed by Damien Levesque, and all I gotta say at the beginning is... that is fan-fucking-tastic. That was a great goddamn horror movie. It used some normal cliches and used the theme of exorcism and turned it right on its goddamn head, and that was great shit. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers here in a little bit, but I want to talk about Shudder really briefly. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's an all-horror streaming service with classic horror, crazy horror, and originals like this. Now, I've reviewed some of the originals, and they've been hit and miss. But I still love having Shudder, because, my God, it's a great value, but also you can get some great goddamn movies. And some rare ones, and some you don't expect to be good like this. When I saw the screen cap, I'm like, okay, that seems a little bit, like, okay, exorcism, they're doing something and then they got to confront the real evil. So, okay, that sounds kind of silly. And I wasn't sure how to take the movie at first, but my God, you can tell the director, the writers, the crew, the cast, they put a ton of effort into this, and they created one of the best, horror movies I've seen in a goddamn while. This ranks right up there with We Summon the Darkness, Starlight, and Color Out of Space as far as movies that I have really, really enjoyed this year that I didn't expect to. And you know me, I love some horror movies, and I figure with Horror Movie Month, why not check out more shit on Shudder? And I'm going to be doing that here for the rest of the month. But I'll get into the plot here in a little bit, but you have Ryan Guzman, who played Max. You have Drew, played by Kyle Gallagher. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Lane, Alexis, Angelus, and Chris, who was named Chris, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the guy's full name, because I'll probably screw it up. But they're a crew that are working on a show called The Cleansing Hour. It's a web series where Max is playing a preacher or a priest where he is performing exorcisms, and he's trying to get a lot of views, and he's trying to break through and be a celebrity. Now, he's using stuff he learned from, earlier in his life as a way to, play a priest on TV, but obviously he's just lying. And he figures that he can use, his ideas and everything and use his friends, to build this brand. And it seems to be working. They have a good amount of viewers, but they can't quite break through that ceiling. And Drew and Lane are also together. They're going to be married soon. They're going to go off on a cool vacation. And even Lane is like, he's kind of a dick. He kind of only thinks for himself. Maybe, you're being played. You're getting played. You really should get out of this. You really should do something else with your life. And as they try to branch out the social media brand more, one night, a guest that is supposed to be on this show doesn't turn up for reasons I'll get into here in spoilers in a little bit. And Lane has to take over in the spot of the possessed. And then things get really, really crazy when things go tits up and we have to have a whole bunch of confessions and have a whole bunch of stuff because maybe there really is a demonic presence. And Max and Drew and the crew have to do what they can to battle back and save themselves, while also basically making sure that the demon doesn't take their souls. We kind of need our souls to live. So I will say with this movie, though, before I get into spoilers, that this was it used some great body horror effects. The crew really worked hard on this, and everybody played their roles right. Now, yes, there's a lot of typical, one-note roles where you got the damsel in distress, and you got like an older guy on the crew, you got his daughter on the crew who's kind of just this, early 20s something that just wants to goof off. And also throughout this, you have various people watching the stream, either, from a rich family. There's even some from Israel. There's some from other countries, and they're all watching, even from like a mess kitchen. They're all watching this and trying to see what's going on. And as things develop, we realize that, well, Max ain't exactly the saint he claims to be, even though we can kind of tell he's a bit of a, grifter and everything. And also that everybody's got something to confess and not everybody's innocent, and this demon's going to expose this shit. And I will say in the third act, it really kicks into high goddamn gear, and fucking hell. I mean, I probably should have expected it, but the way they did, yes, it's a simple story. And sure, some of these things in the hands of another director might not have been able to work, at least a director like, at the indie level, but Damien somehow manages to just get it. It's kind of funny that a movie about exorcisms, and the demonic presence is directed by somebody named Damien. If you've seen The Omen, you fucking get it. But with this, he crafts something really well. The story is very good. It's simple, but it's effective. The actors, do a great job, basically playing roles of like, holy shit, we're trapped in this room with all this shit going on and we don't know what to do. And they kind of act a little rational. Yes, sometimes there are people doing stupid shit, as is horror movie 101. But honestly, the third act twist in particular, where I'm like, oh, okay. And especially the final few minutes, I'm like, oh, they actually managed to do something really good. I'm like, holy shit, they're actually they've crafted a great goddamn movie here. I'm enjoying myself, which is rare because I've seen a lot of movies this year, guys. I've seen over 100. I think it's about 107 or 108 right now. And I've seen a lot of shovelware, a lot of bullshit, a lot of stuff on Netflix, even some stuff on Shudder I did not care for. And this may be the best Shudder original I've seen in a long goddamn time. It really is that goddamn good. The acting's very good. The writing's pretty damn good. It reveals all its secrets over time. It just really does some good stuff with its premise. So, that being said, I am going to get into spoilers here a little bit. The spoilers aren't going to take very long, but I just want to let you know that this really is a goddamn great movie. If you're a horror movie fan, you're going to enjoy it. At least I did. Now, I don't know how anybody else is going to feel, but I really fucking enjoyed it, and I'm a bit of a harsh critic. So, if you are still here, we're getting to spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and go! We are in the spoiler territory right here. So, you got Max and Drew, they got their friendship. Drew and Lane have their relationship. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of way to play on that. There's this character that was this was either played by a drag queen or a character playing a drag queen. I'm not actually sure. I didn't study up enough on that. But walking along a back alley, and then, they see people, creatures walking around and everything. And they're like, oh, fuck this. And then they get dispatched. They were supposed to be the guest on this show, and they were going to be an actor and everything. So Lane's like, I'll step up and do this stuff. And from there, everything seemed like it was going good, and then suddenly, oh no, there's actually a demonic presence there. That demonic presence went from that alley right in the lane, and it is going to get Max, Andrew, and everybody to confess all their sins, all their stuff. And it was really goddamn good. Now, there's character Chris. He actually took some bad shit at a bar party, and ended up, freaking out and everything. And he's freaking out on set because he's high. You never want to, do a movie while high. You definitely never want to do. Well, I mean, then again, the main cast of Super Mario Brothers managed to do the movie while drunk. To be fair, can't blame them. But Chris sees a whole bunch of stuff and everything, and he's freaking out. Oh my god, what the hell's going on? And as things go on, Lane is possessed. They're trying to figure out what this demon wants. Basically, you have 49 minutes to lift the veil, or she dies. Okay, pretty simple and to the point. The demonic voice, I will admit, it was a bit silly at first. It grew on me as time went on, so I won't fault that there. Then there was a hokey pokey thing where the little light set went around them, and there was broken glass, pulling an Annie Lennox right there, and getting burned by the lights, and Max really having to pay for the fact that he was playing the priest and trying to, do this stuff for profit. And we get flashbacks of him at a Catholic school. Long story short, him at a Catholic school, he ended up dispatching the nun who was abusive to him and his friend. Even getting a pencil in her eye, which was a pretty cool moment. And there were some good gore effects here. There are really good gore and practical effects, and some body horror stuff that they did a little bit later. Tell the truth, the show is a show, sham, all this kind of stuff. Max has got to confess all his stuff, and Ryan Guzman actually plays a pretty damn good role here. I think he could have a bright future, not just in horror, but in Hollywood. He played a pretty damn good role. Everybody, especially the main cast, plays their roles pretty damn well. Got to, people in Israel. We at one point have a boy that is just watching on a giant iPad. I mean, good fucking God, it's or a Chromebook. I don't know much about technology, but he's watching. And it turns out he's the president's son, and we get to find out a little bit later what happens with that. Nothing good for the president, let's just say that. At least president in the movie. Another flashback, and you get a bathroom stall. We get these, weird rat-like creatures that only Chris can see because he's high. And he ends up cutting himself to death with the goddamn boxcar, including cutting his neck. Those were some good gore effects as well. And just really what it was just really, really good. Basically, Max has to confess that he turned his back on the church because he saw hypocrisy. He wanted to do it for profit. He basically wanted to do what he could. He figures if they're going to be, hypocritical, he might as well be hypocritical. And then they pulled the plug on the feed when they got like 12 million views because they're like, well, we don't want to give the demon this kind of thing. They're going to kill us anyway. the demon's name is Amon. At least it is at first, and then it turns out that, well, Lane and Max slept together. Okay, they slept together before before her and Drew got together. Except then footage shows up where it's obvious that these two are doing some stuff pretty goddamn recently. So naturally the friends fight, shit starts flying. They manage to beat back the spirit though, reading scripture and everything's good. Except, earlier in the movie, there was a guy that was set on fire. He had fire tattoos, and that's the first death that happened in the movie. Okay, so cool, that was actually some pretty good effects. So he's all burned, and he's all laying there on the set, but you totally forget about him. And then he rises back up, and he's got glowing eyes and everything. I mean, he's a charred body. And he comes back, and they say, well, we said all the stuff right. It was Amon. It's like, I'm not Amon. I'm not in there. I wrote the book. It's a devil. So, cool body horror effects, by the way, where the devil bursts out of this burned body and is just standing up there. Really, really good camera work where it's obvious it's like, a normal-sized person, but the way they do it, it looks really good. And then the demon stares into the feed just as it's about to go dark. After Max is praying, he says it's much too late for that, and he starts saying some demonic language. We don't know what the hell it is. And all these people that have been watching, all these people, suddenly decide just to turn on each other. They get these white eyes and everything, and they start killing. The devil has basically sent out his message that he wants humanity to kill itself, basically. Just kill each other. So anybody who's watching that goddamn feed, anybody who's paying attention, you're all possessed now and you're all gonna fucking kill. And then the virus starts spreading. It's like a zombie virus. And that's basically what it was. The credits show various events that happened. The president's son does something to his father that, well, you wouldn't want to actually have happen if if you were that person. And yeah, a whole lot of death and a whole lot of good stuff. And that ending was really goddamn good. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm giving it a goddamn A. An A. It gets an A. I want to see Damien do some more movies. I want to see what he can fucking do with his career, because I think he's got a bright goddamn future. This is fucking fabulous. So yeah, that's the praise right there for The Cleansing Hour. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Joe Ritlin. I'll see you soon.